It's like, whoop. You know what Mother said? We don't talk about money. I saw that. She'll have a hard time with that. The next level of change where you can grow is at level of beliefs. A belief is simply an idea that you have in your brain, in your mind, it's in your mind, that you think is true. And here's a belief that a lot of us have. If you have this belief, I want you to raise your hand and raise your hand really high. It's rude and impolite to talk about money. Raise your hand if you have that. Got a lot. It's rude and impolite to talk about money, especially if I'm talking about your money. Does that make it worse? I had that belief. My daughter, Emily, who's 30 now, when she was 6 years old, we were in the kitchen of that big house I told you we had all those bathrooms. And she was becoming aware of money and value. And she just right out of the blue said, Mama, how much did this house cost? You know what Mother said? We don't talk about money. I saw that. And I'm beginning to learn about beliefs and things. I'm going, oh my God, I hope she doesn't get a job in sales. She'll have a hard time with that. I got that from somewhere. It comes from families. You get these beliefs. But here's the thing. I knew that I had it. And when I'm sitting in Reed Lawson's office at the Bank of Greensboro, Alabama, and Reed and I had good rapport. Reed had a lot of pain. Now I got to talk about money. And I'm feeling what? Uncomfortable. It's like, whoop. When you have that come up from your gut, uncomfortable, that's a good place to grow. Good place to grow. So here's what I did. I said, and I still do this because I still am uncomfortable. Who knows where it comes from? Uncomfortable doesn't go away. I said, Reed, is it okay if we talk about money now? And he had carpet like this in his office, a big old chair, and he leaned back in that big old chair and he said, yeah, and man, I got a lot of it. And I said, well, now we get to talk about how much I get to keep. And he just grinned. And now I got to tell Reed it's going to cost him $40,000 to pay me to talk to people on a teleconference line. We didn't even have Zoom back then. If I'd have been choking on that, you think he'd have been eager to give me the money? No way. But we got through that, and he hired me, and I worked with him for a year, and we helped him. You got to have the money conversation before you get into presentation. I'm at another banker's office in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Not many years after that, I drove down there. It was a cold call. I had good rapport with him. He had a lot of pain. And I said, is it okay if we have a conversation about money right now? He said, yeah, sure. Go ahead. I said, well, it's going to be expensive to do all of this. I don't know how much yet, but do y'all have a budget for any of this? Do y'all have money set aside for doing this? And he said, no, we don't have any money. Now, isn't that really important for me to know? Pretty important. Is the presentation going to help me? I used to do them just like you. Do those presentations. So, you just got to be honest with people. I said, well, that can't be right. You're a bank. Don't y'all create money? They do. They do. When they loan you money, they create it. That's the process. And he said, yeah, but this bank, the CEO before us did some things he should have done, and we've been taken over by the comptroller of the currency. And we are under strict guidelines. We can't do anything, but we're coming out of this in 90 days. And we'll be free to do this, and this will really be helpful. Is there any reason for me to do a presentation now? No. It's not going to help. So I said, okay, makes sense. I get it. Why don't I come back in 90 days and we have that conversation? Or we'll talk in 90 days. And we had that talk, and he got fired, and the bank got sold. I didn't quit. I said, do you think it would help if I talk to that CEO? He said, no, I don't think so. But I lost that deal. So you're going to lose a lot of them.